Before we begin, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It may seem like a small gesture, but it truly helps this channel grow and allows us to keep telling these long, calm stories of history. Now get comfortable, because today we're not just talking about the fall of a republic. We're going to ask a deeper question. Why did the Roman Republic have to collapse? Was it the fault of ambitious men like Caesar, or was the system itself already broken beyond repair? And if you lived in Rome at the time, would you have seen it coming? Let's begin. Rome did not fall because of one man. It did not collapse because of betrayal alone. The Roman Republic fell because it was too successful. It conquered the Mediterranean, ruled millions of people, and accumulated more wealth than any system before it. But the Republic was never designed for an empire, and slowly, almost quietly, the very system that made Rome great began to destroy it from within. The Roman Republic was born out of fear. Fear of kings, fear of absolute power, fear of tyranny. In 509 BCE, the Romans overthrew their last king and swore an oath. Never again would one man rule Rome. Instead, power would be divided. 2 consuls instead of 1 ruler, a senate to guide the state, assemblies to represent the people. No office was permanent. No authority was absolute. At least, that was the idea. The Republic worked as long as Rome was a city-state. But Rome did not remain a city-state. With every war won, with every province conquered, the system was stretched further. Governors ruled distant lands for years. Generals commanded loyal armies far from Rome. Wealth flooded into the hands of a few families. The Republic had laws, but no enforcement across an empire, and power began to drift. The Senate believed it ruled Rome. In reality, it ruled tradition. Senators argued endlessly, blocked reforms, and protected their own privileges. Meanwhile, Rome changed. Small farmers lost their land. Veterans returned to poverty. The urban poor multiplied. The Senate refused to adapt. And when institutions refuse to change, individuals step in. The Roman Republic did not collapse overnight. It cracked slowly, under the weight of its own success. And in the next chapter, we will see how ambition, reform, and violence push those cracks beyond repair.
Look to the eagle. Look to Rome. Your courage today will echo through history. Stand ready.
When reform becomes impossible, conflict becomes inevitable. The Roman Republic did not fall because people stopped caring about Rome. It fell because they cared too much and could no longer agree on what Rome should be. At the heart of the Republic's crisis was land. For centuries, Roman society was built on small farmers. Citizens who owned land fought in the army, and in return, the Republic protected their livelihoods. But conquest changed everything. After long wars, farmers returned home to find their land ruined or seized. Wealthy elites bought these lands cheaply and turned them into vast estates worked by slaves. The small farmer disappeared, and with him, the social balance of the Republic. The first men to challenge this imbalance were not generals, they were reformers. Tiberius and Gaius Gracchus believed the Republic could still be saved. Their solution was simple: return public land to the poor. The Senate resisted, not because the reforms were illegal, but because they threatened elite wealth. Tiberius Gracchus bypassed the Senate and appealed directly to the people. This was revolutionary, and it was unforgivable. In 133 BCE, the unthinkable happened. A Roman tribune was killed by Roman senators. Tiberius Gracchus died in political violence, the first of many. From this moment on, politics was no longer just debate. It was survival. When Gaius Gracchus continued his brother's reforms, the Senate responded with force again. Thousands died. The Republic crossed a line it could never uncross. Another change quietly reshaped the Republic. The army. Originally, soldiers fought for Rome because they owned land. Now, the landless poor filled the legions. They did not fight for the Republic. They fought for their generals. Marius reformed the army to be more efficient. But in doing so, he created something dangerous: personal loyalty. A Roman general with a loyal army was more powerful than the Senate. Soon, political rivals no longer debated. They marched. Marius and Sulla turned Roman legions against Rome itself. Cities were purged. Enemies were executed without trial. The Republic survived, but it was permanently scarred. Violence had become acceptable, and once violence becomes normal, law loses meaning. By the end of this era, the Republic still existed in name, but compromise was dead. Trust was gone, and power now belonged to those with armies. In the final chapter, we will see how one man stepped into this chaos, not to destroy the Republic, but to rule what remained of it. By the time Julius Caesar entered the stage, the Roman Republic was already dying. What Caesar did was not to break the system, but to expose that it no longer worked. The Republic did not fall because of Caesar. Caesar rose because the Republic had already fallen. Julius Caesar was not an outsider. He was a product of the Republic. He mastered its politics, its corruption, and its contradictions. Unlike the Senate elite, Caesar understood the people. Unlike the reformers before him, he had an army. And unlike Sulla, he knew that power had to appear legitimate. Caesar did not present himself as a tyrant. He presented himself as a solution. The Senate believed it could control Caesar. They were wrong. They blocked his political future. They denied him legal protection. They forced him into an impossible choice: return to Rome as a private citizen and face prosecution, or keep his army and become an enemy of the state. The Republic offered no peaceful path forward. In 49 BCE, Caesar crossed the Rubicon River. This was not a sudden act of ambition. It was the final consequence of decades of failure. The moment Caesar crossed that river, the Republic revealed its truth. It could no longer resolve conflict without war. The die was cast. The civil war that followed was brutal, not because Romans hated each other, but because they no longer trusted institutions. Caesar defeated Pompey, not with cruelty, but with mercy. And this mercy frightened the Senate more than violence, because it made Caesar popular, and popularity in a broken republic was more dangerous than force. When the Senate killed Caesar, they believed they were saving the Republic. They were wrong. The assassination did not restore balance. It exposed the final illusion that the Republic still existed. Power no longer belonged to institutions. It belonged to those who could seize it. The Roman Republic did not collapse because of evil men. It collapsed because it refused to change. It ruled an empire with a city-state system. It protected elites over citizens. It answered crisis with tradition. And tradition was not enough. The Republic did not fall suddenly. It aged. It fractured, and finally, it gave way. Rome did not lose its republic, it outgrew it. And in the ruins of that system, something new was born. An empire